What is the movie about?
It's a long story, man. No, it's action and it's...
Boy, that'll sell tickets.
Unlike Van Damme promoting that film on David Letterman, I'm going to tell you guys at least a little bit about this movie. Actually, I'm going to tell you a lot of it. So this is part 3 in a 4-part series I've been doing about the new wave Hong Kong directors that Van Damme first worked with. Got their first film produced here in the United States, partly due to him. Today we're going to be talking about Double Team. Now, it's definitely one of the more unique, bizarre films that Van Damme made, but it should be no surprise considering its director, Tsui Hark. A lot of other guys on YouTube say his name's Tsui, but they're wrong. Tsui Hark has always had a passion for film and began making experimental movies with an 8mm camera when he was only 13 years old. He graduated from the University of Texas in Austin with a degree in film. Tsui has directed several influential Hong Kong films such as Zoo Warriors from the Magic Mountain, starring nobody you probably heard of.
Win Biao, Bridget Lin, Damien Lau, Moon Lee, Judy Ong, Adam Cheng, and Sammo Hung.
Okay, well, maybe you heard of that last guy, and we'll talk about him a little bit more later on. Once Upon a Time with China with Jet Li, and Twin Dragons with Jackie Chan, to name a few. He's actually got 50 directing credits to his name. He's also a prolific writer with nearly 50 writing credits, and is known to be a very involved, hands-on producer, but not in the inappropriate Harvey Weinstein sort of way, but rather more from a creative aspect angle. Some of the bigger movies he produced were A Better Tomorrow, A Chinese Ghost Story, and The Killer, which was a movie that really put John Woo on the map as a director. He's viewed as a major figure in the golden age of Hong Kong cinema, and is considered by critics to be one of the masters of Asian cinematography. He's also acted in several films as well. One of the more notable ones was 1985's Yes Madam, which just happens to be Cynthia Rothrock's first movie and Michelle Yeoh's third. For his many contributions to Hong Kong cinema, Tsui Hark received the Star Asia Lifetime Achievement Award at the 2011 New York Asian Film Festival. He's quoted as saying, "Emotion is the most essential element in my films. By taking many shots from different angles, I can bring out the emotions of a scene. The sequence's tempo can be controlled by sharp editing and by paying close attention to camera operations."
Tsui likes to go on every movie, he likes to change his directing point of view, which is difficult. It's a challenge against yourself. The camera move, very unusual, like MTV, disturbing, but good.
Double Team was written by Dan Jacoby. Aside from Double Team, some of the more notable scripts he wrote were 1990's Arachnophobia and 1998's John Carpenter's Vampires. Lead vampire villain Valak, by the way, was played by Thomas Ian Griffith, a great martial artist whom I've covered in a previous video. Make sure to check that one out when you get a chance. I'll link it in the description below. The original spec script for Double Team was titled The Colony. There's a lot of interest in it, and Dan Jacoby ended up selling it in the $1 to $1.5 million range.
Not a bad way to earn a buck.
The story was set on an island off the coast of Greece that serves as a safe haven for CIA agents who've blown their cover. It's centered on a man wanting to escape the island in order to seek revenge on his arch nemesis. Jean-Claude Van Damme thought it was a great script. However, it was extensively rewritten when Dennis Rodman got involved, and the changes made the final movie cartoonish.
First of all, the script of Double Team. The name was Colony. Great script. And it did change and change and change. It was a very good movie. But the script changed a lot. It became different. It became more cartoonish.
So what did the story end up becoming? I'll let Van Damme try to explain it again.
It's a story between spies all over the world, and I'm in a colony, in a jail, but people think I'm dead, and I'm going to escape, and Dennis will help me to find a bad guy who took my wife who's pregnant. It's a long story. Wow.
They did keep the main element of the island of ex-CIA operatives that were too valuable to kill but too dangerous to set free. Of course, no man had ever escaped the island, that is until Van Damme gave it a shot. Is there anything this man can't do? As far as the movie becoming cartoonish, I definitely see where that's coming from. For whatever reason, they thought it was a good idea to include all these basketball references.
Offense gets the glory,
but defense wins the game.
Hey, watch your head! Now that's what I call hang time!
The other screenwriter on the film was Paul Moniz, but I'm not sure if he's the one to blame for the bad jokes. Paul Moniz, by the way, also shares a credit on the screenplay for 1996's The Quest, which was Van Damme's directorial debut and based off a story that Van Damme and Frank Dukes came up with. Unlike Bloodsport, at least Frank Dukes did not claim The Quest was based on true events. I was always suspicious of that claim, even when I was 10 years old and seeing Bloodsport for the first time. It's really at the end of the film that made me question it when they have this text here. I mean, how are they measuring the speed of somebody's kick? Especially 40 years ago. As far as the production for Double Team goes, it was filmed all across Europe, on location in Antwerp, Belgium, Nice and Arras, France, Rome, as well as Italy. While the film implies that the final climactic fight between the hero and villain takes place in Rome's Colosseum, the scenes were actually filmed in and around the Arles Amphitheater in southern France, and that's where things get really crazy. For example, Van Damme can be seen kicking a tiger right here. As far as the action goes, it definitely has that Hong Kong flavor. There's some pretty intense shootouts, lots of explosions, including this iconic money shot here. And there's a lot of broken glass. Enough broken glass to make a Steven Seagal movie jealous. The fights aren't quite the typical Van Damme fare. Unlike John Woo's Hard Target, where Van Damme's fights look very recognizable and gave audiences what they expect out of a Van Damme film. Rather, they were more frenetic and fast-paced in this one. There was actually a really good fight scene against this guy here, who even pulls out a page from Van Damme's own playbook, with a foot knife, which of course was iconic with Van Damme in his movie Cyborg. The final fight against Mickey Rourke, however, was a little disappointing. Not so much the fight itself, but rather the fact that some of it wasn't even Van Damme performing the fight. It makes sense that he'd have stunt doubles for, stunts. But as far as Van Damme being a world-renowned martial artist, you expect him to at least put up his own fights in the movie. That is what Van Damme fans are paying to see after all. Sammo Hung was brought in as a special action choreographer to help with the fight scenes, and his style is clearly evident. I'm sure most of you are aware of Sammo Hung, but here's a quick refresher. The man's truly a martial arts legend and has nearly 200 credits as an actor going back to the 1960s. He's also produced and directed dozens of martial arts films. The things that sticks out to most people who see him is how well he can move, considering that he's what you would consider as overweight. His remarkable speed and agility is in stark contrast to his heavy build. As far as the co-stars go, of course we have to mention Dennis Rodman. He is the one that transformed the film into Double Team from The Colony. This was actually his first film. He played the character Yaz, an eccentric flamboyant arms dealer with a penchant for bad basketball jokes.
Oops, airball.
Funny guy, huh?
The character Yaz wasn't too far removed from his real-life self. For example, around this time, the real Dennis Rodman was promoting his autobiography, Bad As I Wanna Be. During promotion for the book, Rodman famously wore a wedding dress and claimed that he was bisexual and was going to marry himself. The man is certainly a unique individual. As far as his performance in Double Team goes, I thought he did an alright job with what he was given. Critics were a lot more brutal though. Double Team was nominated for and won 3 Golden Raspberry Awards, all thanks to Dennis Rodman's contributions to the film. He won Worst Supporting Actor, Worst New Star, and Worst Screen Couple, along with Van Damme who shared in that honor. This is in stark contrast to the award Lance Henriksen received starring alongside Van Damme in Hard Target, the Saturn Award.
What's it like working with Dennis Rodman? What's it like spending time with Dennis Rodman? What's it? Can he act? Does he know what he's doing?
You know what? He did a good job.
Really?
First movie was very natural.
A couple of years after Double Team, Dennis Rodman would get his own movie vehicle to be the lead star in, titled Simon Says. It happened to be another action comedy, but this time instead of being the arms dealer, he played an Interpol agent attempting to thwart the deadly plans of a crazed arms dealer. Now, I don't know who's crazier, the arms dealer in that movie or the person who actually thought greenlighting this movie was a good idea. Oh, I do want to point out an interesting, infamous incident during the time Double Team was being promoted, by the way. You probably heard about this.
Missed it. Dennis fights for the rebound, tapped it out, and it'll belong to Minnesota.
He kicked the cameraman. He was really upset.
All kinds of equipment right there, and the cameraman is hurt. Now the man acts like he's dying.
It was just the heat of the moment, and the things that I did was more like, okay, great, I'm gonna do this, and hopefully that things will be cool. But I could have did a lot worse things than that. Besides kicking somebody, I could have punched somebody in the face.
As far as the villain goes, that was brilliantly played by Mickey Rourke. His character is Stavros, an international freelance terrorist, the type willing to work for any government willing to pay him the most money. He's a risky guy. He's got no allegiance. He underwent a serious martial arts regime to obtain his physical appearance in the film and to prepare for his fight scenes with Van Damme, who played Jack Quinn. The hard work he put in clearly shows. Speaking of putting in hard work, Van Damme's character in the movie trained for several months, preparing himself to make his daring escape from the island prison. Since a lot of people are forced to work out at home these days, this movie could give you some interesting ideas for your home workout routine, such as deadlifting your bathtub, for example. Oh, by the way, we know Mickey Rourke's character has warrior spirit, clearly evident in this shot of the car exploding in the background as very coolly walks away with nary a flinch. If we learned anything from Van Damme's Bloodsport, aside from Frank Dukes being full of crap, it's this.
You didn't flinch. You have fighting spirit.
Unlike film critic Kevin Thomas of the Los Angeles Times, I wouldn't exactly call Double Team one of Van Damme's best, but if you haven't seen it, it is worth checking out. It's still quite a bit better than most of his straight-to-video slop he's made over the last 20 years. There were a couple of gems during that period though. For example, 2008's JCVD really got him a lot of respect I felt he's always deserved. 2018's The Bouncer was also a diamond in the rough. Both of those films, by the way, were from French directors, so maybe that's the secret. If you watch Double Team for the first time, or if you decide to revisit it, just don't overthink it. I mean, why is this stolen plutonium Van Damme's character sent to retrieve not even being guarded whatsoever, until he basically draws everyone's attention to what he's doing by driving through a brick wall? And why is this guy trying to suffocate him and deprive him of oxygen when he's already underwater? Also, as far as the whole escape goes, why are these planes sent in every week to pick up cargo from the secret island? It's not like they're manufacturing goods on the island and sending them out to the market. The only thing they're doing on the island is reconnaissance work within an elaborate computer network. However, put the logic aside and just enjoy the ride, because it's actually pretty entertaining. Now, I do want to point out that Tsui Hark was unsatisfied with the lack of creative control he had when making Double Team. This lack of creative control was a complaint that John Woo had as well when working on Hard Target with Van Damme, claiming that in Hong Kong the director is everything. Things are certainly different in the US, as the lead star usually has a lot of power and creative control in the project. But imagine what could have been had they just stuck with The Colony, not gotten so cartoonish, and given Tsui Hark the reins to make the film he wanted to. It's very likely this would have been much more successful at the box office. As it were, the film was considered a commercial flop, eking out a paltry $11.5 million on a $30 million budget. There were actually plans for a sequel, which were unsurprisingly scrapped. If that weren't bad enough, the movie's failure also did irreparable damage to Van Damme's career. Sony Pictures had to take this one on the chin, but other studios began to lose faith in Van Damme's box office pull as well. For example, Van Damme was set to do an action horror film with Universal Pictures titled Abominable, which has been described as the movie Predator in the Snow. There were some big directors attached to that project at one time. For example, Peter Hyams, who directed Van Damme in the box office smash Time Cop, the box office not so smash but still worth checking out, Sudden Death, and then 2013 straight to video, I Can't Blame You If You Never Want to See This Movie, Enemies Closer. Another big time director attached to Abominable was Rennie Harlin, who directed Sylvester Stallone in Cliffhanger as well as Driven.
And you don't even know what the hell you're talking about. And you don't know who you are anymore.
Despite that great line, the movie is not about an amnesic Formula One driver. However, Universal ended up canceling that project altogether, as it would have been quite costly to produce, and with Van Damme's star power on the decline, it wasn't worth them taking the financial risk. But anyway, what do you guys think about Double Team, by the way? Let me know in the comments below.
Is you and Dennis Rodman here?
Okay.
And well, no, what do you mean, okay? What are we going to see?
I don't know.
It ain't the whole movie. You thought we were going to show the whole movie?
No.
He says, okay, get your popcorn. Here it is.